they'll always test the scenario of whether he'll play Test cricket, especially at home. Given an opportunity, they'll like to consider him. That's probably the communication back at him. Maybe that's why he's playing in SL.
If he wants to play Test cricket, I think he has to come in as a batsman. Welcome back to Sri Lankan Cricket Podcast with Vida and Bora. We are catching up to have a chat about Sri Lanka's tour of New Zealand, which will start on 9th of March. Women's IPL has kicked off last night, and National Super League final, Double has won the National Super League, and they have announced teams for the List A version of that tournament as well. So once again, I'm joined by my co-host Sohan. They are in finals as well. We are coming to an end of Victoria's cricket season. How are you going, Bora? Are you ready for the finals?
Yeah, getting ready for a big weekend of cricket coming up. Yeah, in Victoria's and even I think New South Wales cricket's slowly winding up or the back end of the season. A lot of teams playing finals. We're lucky to be, or we've done the hard yards to be there at finals this year round as well. So pretty happy with that effort. Just preparing as we usually do, just to play some good days of cricket coming up. So, but yeah, good to be here as well to discuss about cricket with how have you been and what's the plan for today?
Yeah, so we didn't make the finals, so
Yeah.
had the week off. Sri Lanka finished playing there in New Zealand. They had their preparations in Sri Lanka. They went up to Radella to have a training camp up in the hills, a ground I have never played cricket on, but I've seen it and it's a very beautiful place to play cricket, but I don't think they play any competitive cricket up there. So they had a training camp there. Then now they're in New Zealand. They played a 2-day practice game, which is a rare thing for modern day cricket because we tend to just go to the country and start playing the series. So which is a
Yeah.
good thing for our team. Kusal Mendis had a good inning there with a 95. Also, the Fernando got some runs. Overall, I think they are ready. I think I'm not sure about the standings, but do we still have a chance to make the finals even like if we win 2-0? I don't know whether we still have a chance, but it's
I think
important.
equation is we need to win 2-0 and
2-0.
India either has to, I think they have to lose the next game
Ah,
or
right.
they have to win or something. But um, while the series was in play, there was a Twitter post as well. I mean, India going with home conditions, trying to play it, but still lost the Test series, which means Sri Lanka the only team that has beaten Australia or whitewashed Australia in a Test series, which was a 3-0
Yeah.
series back home. So
Mhm.
that's for the last 10 years or so. So Sri Lanka has that good result in their favor, which it shows how hard it is to win against Australia, even in home condition. So I think that was the series where Kusal Mendis came onto the stage with
Mm.
his Test career. Rangana Hera took wickets for fun. And yeah, that goes on as the series where Sri Lanka had won 3-0. So
Mm.
we'll touch base more about the Indian Test match as well.
Later on, yeah.
But Sri Lanka heading in to which is a tough series. It's very hard to win in New Zealand. I don't think New Zealand has lost a Test series for a while. I think it's a fair time where they've actually lost a series. I
Yeah.
mean, Baseball went out there, or the English team went out there in search of a series win. They started on a strong note, but ended up a 1-1 series draw with a relatively inexperienced New Zealand bowling attack or a team, but they managed to tie that series.
Yeah. Well, we got nothing to lose, Bora.
Yeah.
It's all or nothing for us. So we'll have to go all out and try to win 2 test matches. But they're coming from most of the players. They're coming from with some good performance behind them. They've been playing in the National Super League back at home, and New Zealand hasn't been at their best in the first test, but they made a comeback in the second test, so which is not good news for us. I think the team we have at the moment, we have a very good mix of experience, and we have good bowling options as well. So, and then Test cricket in, like, we are coming to the end of the summer, Bora, and it won't be that early summer seaming wickets we'll be playing on. So
Yep.
that, like, if we can survive that, obviously they're going to prepare wickets to their advantage, and if we can survive that first day, then after that the pitch gets so much better for batting. So that's something we have to look when we make our decisions to select the team. Looking at the performance that they had in the practice game, I think Oshad will play. Looks like he'll play. Then Kusal obviously got some runs. Dimuth, Chandi, Angelo. So that'll be the top five.
Yeah.
And Iqbal as the wicket keeper. Oh, I forgot Dhananjay De Silva. So that's 7 batsmen.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But heading into New Zealand this year, I reckon our test team is at least in better shape than years before. Or on, if you look at the World Test Championships, we've put ourselves up there. We are pushing for a spot in the finals, which doesn't usually come around. So a good turnaround or a good batch of results that has come our way. In terms of the mix, it'll be the how they balance the ball in attack, how they go, because we wouldn't be able to play two spinners. It'll be one spin and a mixture of fast bowlers, or Dhananjay De Silva to bowl part-time spin and
Yeah.
then more fast bowlers. So a combination how they want to go about it. Prabhat Jayasuriya, he last series they played, which was a long time back, he had a great series debut. So, but coming into totally different conditions, which he's new as well. So he wouldn't be the person to lead the attack. So it will rely on to one of the fast bowlers. So then that combination will change definitely there. So
Yeah.
Vishwa Fernando, Kasun Rajitha, one of them might be the spearhead fast bowlers. So they look like the senior fast bowling duo in that group.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Do they play Charmika because of his batting capabilities into that, third or fourth bowling option? Or do they go for fast bowlers and Dhananjay De Silva as the spinning option? So, but that's the call they'll have to make.
Yeah, looking at the bowling options, Bora, you mentioned Kasun Rajitha, Lahiru Kumara, Asit Fernando,
Yeah,
Vishwa, and Ramesh Mendis. Two spinners are Ramesh Mendis and Prabhat Jayasuriya, and Charmika is the all-rounder. Well, you can call Ramesh as all-rounder as well, but that's at home.
yeah,
Playing away, you can't call him all-rounder. So we talked about Nishan Madushka, who has been scoring tons of runs in the domestic season. I don't
yeah.
see him playing in the first test, Bora. Do you see him
No, I
play?
don't see him. No, you're right. But credit to him, he's broke himself into the squad to be there. It's a you don't want you can't change a lot. I mean, I can't even remember what our top six were last time because it's been such a time back. If you look at Dimuth Karunaratne, he played cricket in Victoria, Melbourne, in sub districts in between the last test series and now, and he's gone back, and that's about all he's played in terms of cricket. So they're prepared, but it's international cricket. You got to be playing international cricket regularly as well. So that's that rhythm or that
Yeah,
um, back-to-back games that we've missed out. So they come in relatively fresh. They'll go with the same top order.
yeah,
Is my feeling, and the bowlers. England, you're right. The back end of the summer, wickets probably a bit more stable means, I mean, it'll be green through the first 2 days, definitely, and then it tends to flatten out. So if we can get through that period, I reckon we can set up, say, a game to, at least push a course or put the Kiwis under pressure. But
Mm.
it's going to be a big uphill task as well.
Yeah. Bad news for us is Kane Williamson is back in form as well. He's got 100 in the last game.
Yeah,
Team wise, I think, I mean, if they want to play Madushka, only person I can see coming out to make way for him is Dick Weller and
yeah,
Kusal Mendis or Chandimal to wicket keep.
yeah,
But I don't think they'll make that call because Dick Weller has been the wicket keeper for the last couple of years. Basically, this is the only format he plays now. So yeah, and interesting you mentioned about us not playing many games. I looked at the points table, Bora. Like we
yeah,
only played 10 games, I think, in the championship. Like India has played about 20 plus games. Australia
yeah,
has played 20. England has played 20. And this is going to be the case in the future. The top
yeah,
three teams, the big three, will play most of the test cricket, and the rest of the world will not play much cricket. And looks like the one day cricket is gonna die off. No one has interest to play one day cricket. It is what it is. Change of times, and we'll have to. This is not the first time something like this happened to cricket, and we'll have to go with what's happening because we can't dictate terms. We can't control
yeah,
any.
exactly right. What we've got to dictate is the performances that the teams put in and make it a team that people want to watch and people want to compete because they are top of the league or top of a top team, which Sri Lanka back in the time, which I mean, yes, we won the 96, but if you go late 2007, 2011 till that period of we were competing, we were finalists in most of the ICC tournaments.
Yeah.
So people knew this is a tough team and they will compete. So
Mm.
we're trying to get up to that stage at the moment.
Yeah. Yes, we are certainly doing that in the one day format.
Yeah,
Even though, I mean, basically because we play more white ball cricket. Most of our white ball cricketers are playing in the leagues around the world. So
yeah,
it's a good thing for us. Interesting. I saw Wanidu Hasaranga. He's playing red ball cricket after a long time. Team he plays, Dabulla, has won the National Super League 4 day tournament. He's done really well. He's got runs with the bat, and in the final, he's got 9 wickets, 4 and 5 in both innings. I know you're a big fan of Manidu. We are going off topic here, but do you see him play Test cricket again, Bora? I'm for me, right? I want to hear what you want to say. For me, if he wants to play Test cricket, I think he has to come in as a batsman who bowls a bit. What
yeah.
what do you what are your thoughts about him playing?
Yeah, exactly right. I think they'll always test the scenario of whether he'll play Test cricket, especially at home. And if we're given an opportunity, they'll like to consider him. That's probably the communication back at him. Maybe that's why he's playing in NSL as well.
Mm.
If ever there's opportunity, there is a scenario. And players' form tends to, go up and down. And if he's at the right form and there's a test series around the corners, especially if it's after a 1 day series, he might push his case to play that test series. So
Yeah,
you're right. If you were to play him, and at Sri Lanka, he's good enough to hold his bat. Like Ramesh Mendis at one stage was holding the bat and playing the
yeah.
spinner. So, but if it was a scenario could be a strategy where they need a right arm leggy, you'd
Mm.
go with you push the case forward. You'll include him in.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, being the competitor he is, I'm
Yeah,
sure he's not happy staying at home, looking uh because we haven't played international cricket for some time, and he must,
yeah,
how he is. He's itching to go out there and win games for us. Um which is, I mean, especially when we are playing at home, I think he has a case. It's good that
Yep.
he's playing red ball cricket. That's what we need. Competition for
Yep.
places, which will create a better team. Sri Lanka. Anything else to add there, Bora? Or should we move on to other topics? So
Yeah, I'm happy to move on. I think we're keen to get the series underway so that when we can cover how the boys
yeah,
are performing, they'll need to break a few of their cobwebs. So let's cover the topic more when the series actually kicks off. For the moment, they've prepped themselves the best they could.
mm,
And the teams probably got a strategy they want to work towards. So let's see when the series kicks off. But
yeah,
happy to move on to the
yeah,
next
yeah.
topic.
This group has been training together for nearly a month, Bora. So which
Yep.
is very rare in current cricket environment. So it will be interesting to see how they go. Let's move on to women's IPL, then finish with India and Australia.
Yeah, happy with
Yeah.
that.
So women's IPL kicked off last night. Mumbai
Yep.
Indians versus Gujarat Giants. Most of the earlier games all sold out, which is
Yeah.
massive for women's cricket. The big argument put forward about women's cricket was that they are not attracting crowds, but that's not a problem in India. Playing women's Premier League in India is the best thing and that has happened to women's cricket. I'm excited to see where this gonna take women's cricket. I mean, we talk about getting paid big bucks. That's a separate thing. Having crowds in the stadiums and having that interest among everyone to watch women's cricket is what women's cricket needs. So this will create that. Yeah. First season, remember when we watched the first men's IPL? I mean, we were not sure where this gonna end up, but look at it now. So let's see how we go. Like it's just the early stages still.
Yeah, I reckon like yesterday's or the first game was a slightly mismatch, but Mumbai Indians, do you know how heavily or how well they went about the auction? I think they're one of the strong teams there. Gujarat Giants, bit of Australian influence there with
Yeah.
the coach in Beth Mooney. She's hurt herself, so I'm not sure how long she'll be out of the tournament, but they struggle. And where I'm getting to is there will be this mismatch of games happening because it's the first edition. Some teams didn't get their strategies right in terms of player squad selection. What will happen is over time, as the series goes into the second edition, the players will improve on their skills and their techniques, and you see a lot of teams competing together,
Mm.
and that will see how much the WPL improves, and more could be more funds coming in, and the fan interaction will definitely grow. Like you said, Vida, they crowd getting in crowds to games is not a problem for in India. They'll get the stands full. It's the competition that will improve, where there'll be more tighter games, and then we'll see that big change where the next 5 years of WPL is going to be massive.
When you mentioned about Beth Mooney's injury, bro, first thought came to my head is if she's gonna be ruled out from the tournament, is there a chance for Chamari Athapattu to walk into Gujarat team? Um,
Yeah, I think you're right. If that's what I don't know how different ways to look at it. I saw Chamari Athapattu is on a flight to play a game in Pakistan because there's
Pakistan.
a tournament being played. Ideally, I would have stayed back because I would have been as a top player. You're bound to get a call up to the IPL at some stage because players are going to get injured, some through form or even for the next couple of years.
Mm.
Hopefully, this doesn't turn things against her. Where I mean, she's gone to play in Pakistan. We play a series there, which
Mm.
hopefully doesn't turn. her selection the other way. That's my only thought that when I saw it happening. But yeah, when I saw the injury, my first, like same as you, I was thinking good opportunity for Chamari if they're looking for an opener who
Mm,
can bowl or spin,
yeah, exactly.
and he's good on subcontinent tracks. There is a proven performer there.
Before we move on to the next topic, we'll like first IPL, men's IPL. Some teams just pick the names and they
Yeah,
didn't have idea how to fit these names into the team. You can only play four players,
yeah,
and sometimes it's a waste of money to buy a player. And the wickets are pretty much the same,
yeah,
and you basically play the same team if they're fit, right? In
yeah,
IPL. So you're right. Like after a couple of seasons, they'll figure it out. But it'll be quicker because there's a case for them to have a look now because how the men's IPL worked, and it'll be. I don't think they'll take much time to rectify that and select better squads. We'll stay in India and move on to India versus Australia series.
yeah,
2-1 now. Test match ended on the third day. Australia had to chase 76 to win, and first couple of overs, they lost a wicket in the first over. Kawaja lost his wicket in the second ball of the first over. Then there
yeah,
was few nervous moments, but Manas and Travis said got Australia home. And funny thing is, all the talk about the pitch, which has been the main talking point for the last three test matches. No one is talking about the pitch anymore. That's
yeah,
that's, that's what surprised me most. I think that's the worst pitch they played among the three pitches, and
yeah.
no one's talking about it. What's going on there, Mura?
Yeah, not sure about that. We got the results going their way, so maybe it'll get talked about at some stage. But I think India batted. I think they could have batted well in that first innings in their conditions. I think they went away ahead and they haven't been able to bat teams out of it, which they normally are known to do. So Australia have come in strong. They came with a few plans. Pitches, the pitch, yeah, it's not talk. You generally don't talk about it when the results go in your favor.
It looked like
So
the pitch looked like Mars, like a picture of Mars. At one point,
oh,
like it's like pebble
yeah,
on top. Sorry.
yeah, it is, and it was interesting how you bat on it because you just don't know what the ball's gonna do. You hear the term natural variation always, and finger spinners become so dangerous out there because you just don't know which way the ball's going. What you need is more accuracy, and then everything looks after itself. Nathan Lyon's been really good with that. Um, and Kuhneman, who came in, he's settled in because a lot of left, right, and Indian batters are struggling to pay him as well. So it helps Lyon to keep doing what he's doing because the pressure is held from both ends. And um, Khawaja batted with head as well, got a bit of momentum, runs. Good result for them. They're actually now looking at tying this series, which is a
Yeah.
massive result for them. Means a lot of criticism for this group of players, especially from all like all the players, former players, but still they've achieved. They're heading into the last game with the series being able to be tied, and with a bunch of players who are slightly unique in how they go about their games, which at times have turned people off or has a lot of questions around it. So, for example, Steve Smith, after losing the second test, he and his wife traveled out to Dubai, and there was questions around how can you leave a squad off and go travel for a couple of days.
They
But
had
that's
they had 10 days in between the second and the third test for us.
there you go. So
Yeah, they
questions
had 10
like
days.
that. And it's a modern players having that freedom how they want to. It's different. The times are slightly different to how it was, treated few years ago. And sometimes when you're in front, you're not used to that. And then when you see things like that happen, you go, hang on, this wasn't done in the past. Why is it being done? It's just, it helps these players rev up to play how they want to play.
Yeah. Even Pat Cummins returning to Australia for personal reasons, family, I think it's a family emergency. That's unheard of 10 years ago. I remember Murali was in Australia and his wife was expecting their first child, and he didn't fly back up until we didn't have a chance to qualify for the Tri Series final, as I can remember.
Yeah.
Nowadays things are different, and the point you talked about the series being a competitive one, Bora, Australia was never far from winning a match in the first two games. It's just that they didn't select the team correctly in the first
Yeah.
test. I couldn't believe they when they didn't pick Travis Head for the first test. Like he's been in red hot form, and they just left him
Yeah.
out for a bizarre reason. Like he hasn't got runs like what 2017. No, doesn't even make any sense.
No,
And
you're right. They luckily injuries and scenarios went their way. They had to make the calls. Like I wouldn't have played David Warner number one in the first place in India. I would have changed him for someone else. Head scenario again shocked most of us. But credit to them, they did make the change with Kuruman. They went with him early. Pat Cummins, because of of his personal reasons, had to step out, which is a good thing because he had that change had to happen. You can't play him as the sole fast bowler, um, and
only
you
that,
need.
Bora. Sorry, sorry. I'll talk after you go. Sorry.
Yeah, and I was going to finish because you need the left hand or Starks angles coming in to change it and a bit of reverse factor,
Yeah,
and to bring that third spinning option in.
yeah. And even your captaincy, I mean, your decisions when you're captaining Bora,
Yeah,
you're a fast bowler, and sometimes you're not thinking like a batsman. I mean, it's okay when you're playing in Australia or on a flat deck, but on a turning pitch, sometimes you need a batsman captain to make those decisions.
yeah,
Does that make any sense? Like I'm trying to say, like having the field placements and maybe like dropping a fielder 10 feet back, like have that gut feeling to okay, if I'm a batsman, this is what I will do. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That would not come from a fast bowler captain. That's what I'm trying to say. What do you think? I mean, being Smith being the captain has been clearly there was a different there was a difference in the decision
yeah,
making.
yeah. I think you're right. There was a big change there. So it's good and it's tough conditions for a fast bowler. If you bowl a spell heat, coming in, understanding what's to go. Whereas a batter's just seeing what's happening with the ball and has more of a gut feel as well. So on conditions like that, it actually works having that batsman captain to, to
Mm.
go about things. So and so far it's worked well for Australia. They seem to be, that change has helped them and they look more refreshed heading into
Yeah.
the next game.
That trip to Dubai and few golf rounds has worked
Helped him out,
wonders
yeah.
for them. I think that's about time we have for this week, Bora. We have a few
Yeah,
questions about the episode we did with Harindu Pereira. That was
yeah,
that good positive feedback about that episode. We will do a couple of questions in the next episode because test match starts on 9th, and we'll do at
yeah.
least a couple of episodes within that the test match, so we can answer a couple of questions there. But I think let's wrap it up here, Bharat, and we'll talk in a week.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks everyone for listening. Hope to catch up on another episode with Sri Lanka in action against New Zealand. Hope to review how the day is going and keep your questions coming in so we can capture that through our next episode.
Absolutely. Send them to srilankancricketpodcast at gmail.com and give us a rating. on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Yeah, we'll see you in a week or in a couple of days.
Cheers, everyone.